As a child, I remember being in Ullapool on one of the holidays and watching the ferry boat, people going off to the Hebrides. I just remember longing, thinking, I must get on that boat. And a few years later I did, and I've been going back ever since. I've often thought, why am I drawn to the Outer Hebrides? Maybe it's something to do with being brought up on a farm and around open space all the time, and there's no greater feeling of open space than on the Uists especially. I'm very much connected to the whole thing, and I love to paint them. That's why my work is exclusively features paintings of the Western Isles now. So on one hand, I go back regularly because it's the source of my work. But I also go back simply because I just can't be away from the place too long. It's a beautiful place. It's a different lifestyle. I started work at 16 years old in an art studio here in Dundee. 77 very highly skilled artists worked there. One or two very, very gifted artists introduced me to watercolour, the potential of watercolour. It's a very demanding medium. It's not the easiest. In watercolour, it's very much a one-touch. You have to get it right first time. And so that introduction to watercolour just fascinated me, what you could and couldn't do, way beyond the restrictions of opaque paint, just appealed to me immensely. And I've gone through all the process of many different types of watercolour paint, many different manufacturers, paper, boards. I've tried every scenario, but it has taken a long time. It's taken well over 40 years to narrow it down to what I use now. The beauty of the watercolour paint for me is that you can build in a texture. It's not a simple, straightforward thing. People struggle for a long, long time. But I have gone through all those years of practice with that watercolour. If I paint, say, the roof of a thatched cottage, in watercolour, you can create a texture that actually it looks almost alive. The very first time I applied gouache as a sky, I wanted to create this effect of almost a 3D depth to the painting. The cottage at the foreground, flat background behind, and it just seems to have a kind of an appeal that's slightly unfathomable. I don't know quite what's in it, but they do resonate with people. There are a lot of images of my work out there because there's some very successful print ranges. But when it comes to the production of original work, I don't paint that many. I only show with the Strathearn Indiana or my own gallery. What's unique about the work is it sparks off different emotions for the people looking at them. And it's very nice when you get feedback from people who are at the exhibitions viewing the work and they say, that's exactly that. I'm from the Hebrides, I know the Hebrides, this just reminds me so much. Or it even inspires people to go and visit the Hebrides. So I must be getting something right.